This is the all-new Hyundai Palisade, and what we have in here is the base trim. And I have some good news and some bad news. Let's roll! Special thanks for this video goes to our great friends at Don Valley North Hyundai. They're a Hyundai and Genesis dealership. They're located just north of Toronto. They're kind enough to allow us to borrow the base model because press vehicles usually don't come in a base trim. They usually load it or an off-road package or a specific package, but I rarely see base models. And I know some people don't really shop for base models, but this one is not really your typical base trim. Cut. If you are from Canada, well, we got a lot of tech features on the base model. And if you are from the US, well, you're not so lucky. The only difference is that you got a front-wheel drive version, which we don't. But most people are not going to go for a front-wheel drive three-row SUV. You want to get the all-wheel drive. Next thing is that even though it is the base trim, this thing offers quite a lot on the outside. First, you got the LED headlights, as you see here, the beautiful new shape. Kind of looks like a bit of a Rolls Royce on the outside. And then we got this beautiful grille all the way across with the chrome finish at the top. You don't get fog lights with this package. What you do get is the flaps at the bottom, which open up when the vehicle requires air to cool down the engine. And then on the outside, the paint choices are actually quite a lot. In fact, you don't lose a lot from the top trim. This one, it's called the creamy white. And first thing, you get 20-inch wheels in Canada compared to the US when you only get 18-inch for the base model. Next thing is that it does have hands-free opening for the front side. So basically you slide your hand in to open it and then tap to lock it. But with this trim, you don't get the second row. You also get rails at the top in case if you want to put a roof box, and there's a nice little side skirt here to make it look a bit more sporty or also luxurious at the same time. Moving on to the back, things don't change a lot in the back. In fact, you still get the Palisade letters all the way across. You don't get a badge here that says the trim. Some vehicles offer that. I find it pretty silly. Why would you want to put the trim unless it's hybrid? But there's no need to showcase the trim here. You have the centerpiece where the plate is located, painted in black. There is the brake light at the top, a very thin line all the way across. This one does not get the rear view mirror camera, therefore you don't see it at the top. But of course you get a backup camera and there's a powered tailgate. And I believe this one in Canada gets hands-free tailgate compared to the US. Underneath, we have a spare tire. Love that. Added to this package. Now, moving on to the trunk area, well, the size itself remains the same. It's not like they're going to shrink that. But what you get in the back is two pods located on the left side of the vehicle that you can fold the second rows automatically. Really handy to have. The third row, you have to do it manually by pulling this lever that you see in here. Now, the third row doesn't get heated seats or climate unit with this package. What you do get is two USB-C ports, one on each side, and you've got the cup holders, and that's about it. Now, in terms of compartment or extra space, if you lift this little lid over here, you get some extra space, including the jack onto the left side and the tow hook. That's about it. Moving on to the second row. First, to get into the third row, this package offers the buttons located onto the top over here and one at the bottom. You press the top one and you move the seats forward so that you can get into the third row. I remember the top trim had power seats in the second row. This one doesn't. You've got the levers located onto the side that you can move the recliner or you can move the seats back and forth. The setup for this package is 3 seats in here, 3 in the back. The third one in the back, it's kind of useless unless you put just kids. For adults, it's okay. But this package offers up to 8 seats, which again, at the base level, that's super impressive. And you got leather interior, which pretty shocking, I have to admit. Next thing, it comes with a climate unit located at the top, plus heated seats. Yes, heated seats. Base level in the second row. That's pretty good. USB-C ports on each side, and there is a compartment underneath here that you can use to store things. And last but not least, my favorite part, there's actually a sunshade here. Jumping into the front row. Again, quite a lot of tech in this car. First of all, you get the 12.3-inch screen for the cluster and the infotainment, massive curved display, which I absolutely love, and power button to start it up, so it's not like the old-fashioned have to crank it up. There's the climate unit in here, which offers heated seats, no ventilated seats with this package, but both passenger and the driver's seat, it is powered, which again, it's quite handy to have. Next thing, you have 3 USB-C ports in the center. There is an actual wireless charging pad here that you can use, a massive armrest in this case, 2 cup holders, more space underneath here, and you have this beautiful dashboard wrapped in leather. Again, super impressed that the base model comes with full leather interior. In terms of the side mirrors, you get power mirrors, but you can't fold them automatically from inside. And you have the option to lock the second row windows in case if you have kids there, but it doesn't have heated side mirrors in this case. These are just for blind spot assist. There's no panoramic roof with this package. There's just a sunroof at the front with the manual shade, and that's about it. But let's start it up and let's go through the rest of the tech features. Let's start it up. The button is located right here. Put a foot on the brake and we'll have the vehicle on. As you can see, the massive screen at the back. If you want to put into drive, you've got this lever located onto the steering column and you can go into drive forwards, you can go into park and so on. The steering wheel is leather wrapped, which is quite nice. I love that with pedal shifters in the back. You've got tons of buttons over here, your lane assist. There's a gap assist with this package. Again, super impressed with the lowest level. And on the left side of the steering column, you have more buttons to open the tailgates. Again, this is the base trim, which you're already at a lot. There's a power handbrake. There is a start and stop engine option, which I think you should stay off most of the time. There is a brake hold with this package, which is located right in there, and you can have different driving modes for this. You've got your Eco, Normal, Sports, and My Drive, and if you press this button, you go into Snow, Mud, and Sand, which again is quite helpful. The climate unit is located right in here, dual zone in this case, and you've got the heated seats in the back, in the front as well, and you can control the climate unit in the back from here in case if you have kids and you want to lock it. Absolutely beautiful. You've got all these buttons onto the side. There is a camera. There's no 360 camera with this one. There's just a front camera and the rear backup camera, and you can do different modes like the wide, and this is for your towing, which is quite nice. Absolutely love this interior. Gorgeous all around, very premium. I gotta admit, like, it's shocking that this has so much tech and so much for the base trim. Like, when you think of a base trim, you think of a tiny 5-inch screen in the center. You think about a single climate unit, just heated seats, and that's about it. That's literally what you think about that. And this one also has a heated steering wheel, which super impressed. Tons of USB-C ports in the front, same thing in the second row, all the way to the third row. Absolutely love what they've done with this package, and including so much. And I think a lot of people should take a look at the base trim because it offers so much for the money. There's also more tech features in the infotainment display in this one. Voice recognition, you can turn that on. Rear seats voice recognition. Basically, it stops the second row from using the voice recognition. You've got your sound. In this case, you can change the tones. Like, there's so much for even the base model. Minimum noise reduction, maximum driver assistance, connected devices, so Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, premium sound with this package. Like, look at that. It's like all this stuff. Moving on to the cluster over here, you can change the theme, so like classic, simple. You've got style ace. There's so much that you can do even with the base model. I'm super impressed. You go back into that and you've got your device connection, so Android Auto, Apple CarPlay in this case, and you go into vehicle. You have convenience. which gives you more features, driver system package, parking safety, like all these things like speed limit reading in this case. You got your driving modes, drive mode alert, for tow mode, lightweight, medium weight, or heavyweight. Control the climate unit from here. It does come with the front windshield sprinkler, which sprays heated water, like even in this package. You've got your activated washer fluid use, and automatic ventilation. In this case, you have Blue Link that you can connect your phone to the vehicle, which is super convenient. We go back into there. We've got your lights, one touch signal, like flashes here 5 times, 3 times for the turning signal. So that's when you do a tap. That's when you have it on the whole time. Headlight delay, high beam assist, interior lights always on. You've got your doors, automatic lock, automatic unlock. You can change this when you're closer to it. You go 2 times to press the remote button. So in case if you wanted to use it twice so you don't have to make a mistake, you've got your power lift gate in this case. So all you do is approach at the back, like the smart lift gates, where you have your remote and it automatically opens once you approach the rear end. Open the windows remotely. You can do the power lift gate to do fast or normal, like what, like all these things, like, and then you've got your rear occupant alert. So if you have like someone in the back that you forgot, for example, wireless charging system mobile. So like if you leave the vehicle, it will give you that beeping that says you left your phone. You've got your rear wiper, activates the rear windshield wiper automatically when you activate the front one. Like what? Like, look at all this. Climate unit, you can control it from here. There's like the automatic ventilation defog. We already went through that. Door. So all these things available on a base model. Like, that's pretty insane. Even having premium audio system, I'm actually shocked about it. General, you've got more settings that you can go through here. I like this new user interface they have in this vehicle. It offers quite a lot. You've got your weather. There's valet mode in this case. Phone projection like your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay you can connect automatically. And it does have a built-in GPS, which most people I think are never going to use because they all use Apple CarPlay. So this is kind of useless in some ways, but it's good to have it there. And you've got more settings at the top. Passenger talk in this case, quiet mode. So this projects the sound from the front all the way to the back, so you don't have to raise your voice. You can control the navigation guidance, navigation alerts, brightness, and all that. So these are kind of like shortcuts at the top, or quiet mode, so the music plays only at the front. The next question is, how much are you going to pay for the base model in Canada or the US? And what about the engine? Well, that's what we're going to find out next. Let's go for a drive. Under the hood, the Palisade uses the new engine, 3.5 liter V6 naturally aspirated. There's going to be a hybrid version, 2.5 liter down the road. Currently, we don't have it, but it will be offered at some points because there is one for the Santa Fe. In Canada, it's only available with all-wheel drive. In the US, it's available as a front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Now, the reason is simply because a lot of people in the US do not need an all-wheel drive. So if you're in the hotter states where you'll never see snow, there's no point of having all-wheel drive. And the fuel efficiency for the front-wheel drive is slightly better. So that's the good news, that the engine is the same across all trims. Now, bad news in some ways is the fact that in Canada, this starts at about $54,000. In the US, you're looking at about 40,000 USD. With a conversion, it's about $53,000 Canadian for, well, if you did the conversion from the US to Canadian, the 40,000 is about 53 Canadian, so it's like 1.33 or so right now, the currency conversion. Maybe it's different by the time you watch this. But that means that the base model in Canada gets more features. In fact, it also gets self-leveling suspension system in the back, something you don't get in the US with the base SE trim. In Canada, it's called the Trans Preferred. In the US, it's SC, but then you can go to SE second trim, which offers more tech features. This, on the other hand, is pretty loaded at this price range, and I was quite impressed to see that. Now, keep in mind, the Palisade is made in South Korea. It's not made in US or Canada. So for both Canada and US, they're coming from South Korea. In the US, there's a 2.5% import fee for South Korean made cars at this point. And what Hyundai has done, it's kind of like made the price in a way that doesn't affect the buyers as much. And for people think that tariffs are paid by the other country, that's the dumbest thing ever. Tariffs are actually paid by you, the consumer that lives in the country that has been hit by the tariff of the imported goods. So let's just get that clear and not get confused about it. If something has an import tax, that doesn't mean that the country that is exporting it to your country is going to pay that. That means that that product now it has a 50% tax, import rate, whatever you want to call it, because the country that you live in has decided to essentially put a tax import on that product. So let's just say if this car was under the tax rate of like import tax of like a tariff of 50%, that means that this car in the US will be costing you more than $40,000. That would have to be something around like $60,000 USD or $80,000 USD, or the company would decide not to import the car at all. So if you love this, be happy that it does not have any major tariffs in it, because you wouldn't get one at the price that it currently is in the US. In Canada, I don't believe Canada has any tariffs against South Korean made cars. So that means luckily we don't pay a lot, but we do get hit with conversion rate. That's why there's that difference. Now, getting back to the car, what do I think about this package? It's brilliant. It's got a lot of tech features. Now, some people will want to go all the way in with that. I think you could get the highest trim, but at this level, you're already getting so much. I mean, it's pretty loaded at this level, I have to admit. That's why I decided to do this review, because I went to look at the list of things that it offered, especially for Canada. I was quite impressed. I thought I gotta do a review about this trim specifically. I rarely do trims, but this one was something that caught my eyes. I would say this is a pretty good deal at this point.